Hello everybody! Today I wanted to share with you my Kompressa Prime status build. I think this weapon is a lot of fun. Now I don't use this as often as I would like because most of the time I'm using ability heavy Warframes where weapons just really don't matter to me so much. But I did want to show you this because this is a really fun weapon. Anyway, let's get into the build. So the first thing I do want to point out here, we're going to take a look at the description. It says it engulfs foes in a cascade of virulent explosive water globules, and it is a lot of fun. So don't mind me, I don't actually have a secondary arcane adapter on this one, mostly just because I use the arcanes and the weapons that I use most. But in the Excellus slot, I've got projectile speed, I've got convulsion for electricity, I've got heated charge for heat, lethal torrent for fire rate and multi-shot. We've got sure shot for status chance. I dare you to say that 10 times fast. We've got hornet strike for damage. Don't mind my non-maxed out one. When I finish maxing it out, I have to pay like extra millions of credits and then reform by like 8 kings. Anyway, I've also got a barrel diffusion for multi-shot. I have frostbite for cold and status chance, and then we've got target cracker here for critical damage. So that is giving us some viral, some radiation, and some cold. So you can see status projectile, we're actually heavily in favor of the radiation, followed by viral, and then followed by cold. Now you could change this out and possibly do something, you know, with like magnetic, corrosive. You could do lots of other kinds of status, but this is just the combination that I like the best right now. I could absolutely use some other mods though. So for example, we've got Scorch, you know, heat and status chance. There's Jolt, that's electricity and status instead of convulsion or heat. You could be using something like pathogen for toxin. You can do all sorts of combinations. Just keep in mind that you're really looking for a status build primarily on this gang here. Now, if you are using Galvanized mods, we do have a couple things here you can use on this. You're going to be using the Galvanized diffusion for the multi-shot. This is actually a huge damage bonus because of the additional multi-shot stacking that you get. And then we do have a Galvanized shot, which is going to replace regular shot, and it is status chance on kill. And then, oh, someone's got a loud car outside, man. And then 40% correct damage per status type affecting the target for 14 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. These two mods here are going to give you a huge damage boost. So if you have the time, energy, and format, make sure that you do pick those up. And then here I am in the simulacrum. I'm just going to load in some enemies so you can get a look at this weapon working. We've spawned in some enemies. And we're just gonna run up. Now this here, as you can see, we are having all kinds of fun status things going on. Now this isn't as direct of a damage as other weapons because we are applying so many statuses. Now this does work over time more or less because with status you're not getting the immediate big boom, you're just kind of getting a lot of status all at once, and that status will eventually finish enemies off. But I think this is a lot of fun. For instance, you can see the bubbles shooting out in the distance here. You can get this guy with the bubbles. And this is a really great area of effect weapon too, so when you see like a lot of enemies, it is great to just get them all, because then you see happy little status numbers. So not as big of a boom necessarily as other weapons, however, it is more than capable of dealing with these high-level enemies. You just gotta remember that status does take a moment. It's not as immediate enough. I cannot speak. It is as not an immediate effect as certain other weapons, but it is an absolute lot of fun. Alright, and that's gonna do it for this video on my Kompressa Prime build. You can use this on the regular Kompressa, and do keep in mind that you can swap out any of the elements to get lots of different elemental combinations, just as long as you're using multiple statuses, because this is a very status heavy weapon. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.